Okay, so today's concept, what I wanted to show you, uh, accessing the database without DB adapter. As you know, we already have one execute SQL function. Okay, through which I wanted to access the database, like from the user, he will send a username along with some parameters. First of all, I wanted to validate whether that user is active or not. If he is not active, then I should not proceed. I should throw an error. So here what I'm doing, I'm creating a user defined error and I'm throwing. Okay.
Ramana,
Yeah.
Ramana.
Yes.
Yesterday you stopped REST service in middle, I guess.
In the middle, but I don't want to continue in the same example. I wanted to show you different example with the same actions.
Okay.
Okay. Right. So here, what I'm going to do now, I'm checking whether the user is active or not. If he is active, then my process will follow as it is. If it is not active, then it should throw a user defined error like an invalid user or inactive user, like that. Okay, so for that, some tst user, one table I have already created. What happened? It's not there. System only. tst users. Okay, right. So here I have created a simple table like ID. I did not give the unique ID. We should give ID. Forget it. Some name, password, and the status. Okay, if the status is inactive, then my process should not go through. If it is active, then it should continue. Okay. So for that, let's check or let's take any existing web service. Hmm. Okay, we have simple ad service. Let's take this service. Okay, so for that I'm creating a new project. Hmm. Custom error. Okay, I wanted to throw a custom error, not the standard error. Okay, then I'm going to create one business service. Yes, URL is this one. Still observe browse. URL. Okay, right. Um, I'm not renaming this one as I have only one XST still. And to create my proxy service, I'm creating one custom WSTL. Okay, here the first name um, I wanted to under the user some parameter here, and the parameter B here I want it as integer. User, then some response, make it as output, and if you do not want as a string, make it as integer. Okay, here it should be request, and it should be response. Okay, that's it. I'm not modifying the WSTL much. Fine. Now create a new proxy service. Customer, then go to the message flow, and before that we need to finish our transformations. Request transform. For the request in the customer, we tell this request is the source. Next target is process. A to input A, B to input B, save it. And I want one more transformation. Inside the customer transformation, go to the export transformation. Here response transform. This time the source is this process response, and this is the target. Okay, right. So I'm ready with my transformation also. Now before going to invoke any service, first of all I want to validate the user, so that instead of writing placing a route node, I'm using pipeline pair node. Now inside the pipeline pair node, just use one stage here, validate user, and inside this stage I'm using one assign. Inside the assign, I wanted to use some xquery, that is SQL function, and execute SQL. So what are all the parameters it is expecting? One is data source string, data source. So let's get the data source from the server. Go to the data source. Okay, let's use this JNDI name. And this is the data source. Okay, next row element. So here you have to give a root element inside which it will include all these columns based on your parameter. So here, based on your query, and here I wanted to run like select uh, status from TST users where name equals to some Ramana. Where spelling wrong. Okay, so here this is the status element I wanted to read. So my query, what I wanted to give as this is the query I wanted to use, and inside which here you need to provide a root element. So root element, I'm just giving it as a user, inside which it will give the column name, and we'll see how it is working also. This is the query I wanted to run. Here give the question mark for the parameters, just like our Java. Inside Java callable statement also we will give that question mark, and later on we will pass the parameters. So here also you can give the question mark, and the parameter is from the variables body request this user. Okay, this user slash text. Okay, I'm thinking whether we need to convert it as a string parameter or not. Better, before throwing any error, we will convert it as a string also. Okay, this is what my query, and I am using one execute SQL instead of using adapters here. Okay, and this result I wanted to place it in some user data. Okay, and after this I am using one log to verify how it is displaying and what it is reading, whether my query is working or not. User data, right? User underscore data. User underscore data, okay. And this is error. First, let's run this one till now and we'll see what it is displaying. So customer error, run on server. Okay, status activities displaying. And what is the root element? Root element is user. Okay, right. Now we will write one more logic here. Insert into flow control if then in the condition dollar user data of status of text equals to, if it is inactive, if it is inactive then it should throw an error. It should throw an error. Okay, and better here give some default namespace like star, because it is not written in any namespace, but sometimes without namespace it's difficult to access a particular element. So better if you give a star, whatever the namespace is available or not available, it will accept it. So if it is inactive, what I wanted to do, I wanted to use one raise error. I wanted to raise an error. So select this, give some code. I'm giving some 9001 as a code, and the uh, message user inactive. User inactive. So this is what the message I wanted to throw. Like in SOVA, we need not to create any XSD or anything. You can give one code and message directly here. And if you wanted to create one custom XML format to return the response, then inside your WSDL, I hope you already know, in the WSDL you can add a fault also inside your operation input output, and you can add the fault, and for that fault element you can prepare here and you can reply back that fault element. Okay, some custom fault element. So here I am raising an error, like error code is 9001 and the message is user inactive. We'll see how it is working now. This time I wanted to give Ramana and execute. Um, request. user inactive. See here, this is the error message we are throwing. Error code is 9001 and the reason is user inactive. Likewise, you can give a simple message here. So here what we are doing, we are using the standard fault element. It's a standard fault element. Inside this standard fault, I'm just simply modifying this error code and username. That's it. Rest all are common. Normally, if you did not give anything also, it will throw the standard error. But here I am giving some custom messages inside the standard SOAP fault. Okay, so instead of this using the standard SOAP fault, if you wanted to give any custom message, then you can create one schema and you can add that message to the operation. Inside operation you can add one fault element and you can create a custom message and you can return it. Okay, now here if it is if it is inactive, then I wanted to throw error, otherwise I don't need this else here. So it will check the condition. If it is inactive, it will throw error. Otherwise, what I wanted to do, I wanted to add one route now. Inside the route node, routing here, everything is similar. Customer business service or business process as usual. In request transformation, use one replace. All these things are same. Variable is body and expression. I wanted to know the query transformation. Query here in a customer error. Request transformation. Replacement content. Okay. Now a small question for you. If I give my response transformation here, what will happen? Here I have a pipeline pair node and here I have a route node here. So here I'm invoking a service. In request transformation, yes, I can give here. In response transformation, what will happen? It will complete the flow here. After that, it will complete this response flow. Then it will go back and it will complete this response pipeline. So what will happen, even though you wrote some response transformation here, in this response pipeline, if you write some other thing, it will overwrite that action. So here what I wanted to do, instead of placing my response transformation inside the routing, I wanted to keep it in response pipeline here because this is the last executable flow. Okay, so first it will route the service. After that, this response will be completed. After that, again it will come back and it will complete this response. So that I wanted to place one response transformation here. Some prepared response here. You can use one replace. Export this dot variable is body. Expression again we have one query transformation. Customer transform response transformation. And here you cannot drag and drop dollar body and space some star colon. Process response is a response, right? Go to our XSD. Yes, process response. Fine. This one I wanted to send as an input to my query transformation. Now we'll see how it is working. Couple some 100 I'm giving. Okay, I got some 200 as response. But instead of that, if I give the user as some Ramana, see, I got some error as user inactive. So likewise, you can send custom messages without defining anything. Simply you can use the standard fault object here. But if you wanted to define a custom fault, that is also possible. So after throwing the message to the error handler, there you can modify, like you can add one error handler here, and you can add one stage, and here you can provide some response message. You can prepare your own response here. Okay, right. As we already have time, let's try to implement that custom fault message also. Mm, some transaction fault. Here I wanted to receive the code, and error message. Okay, and this should be string. Okay, so here if you remember, in this operation along with this one, you can also add fault. We need a message, so create one more message here. Some fault message. Transaction fault is the element, and inside your operation fault message is fault msg, and here you need to give some fault name equals to some user fault. Okay, likewise you can add some fault element, and I wanted to create one one transformation also for the fault. Fault transform. So here I wanted to add few simple elements as a parameters, string like code, and one more string like message. These two I wanted to send as two simple parameters, and the target is from the visitor custom people. This transaction fault is my target, and copy this code to the, what is this? This is integer. Okay, not an issue. Go to the target expression, type conversion, integer, copy this code and apply. And this is string, this is also string. I can directly copy. Okay, now if there is any error, it will raise an error, then obviously it will goes to the error handler here. Name this as handle false. Yes. Export this dot input variables body replace node content query is my fault transformation and it is expecting code and message. Here inside the error handler only you can able to access the fault variable. So here I wanted to send the error code here, the reason here, whatever it may be. It may be standard fault or custom fault. It should execute. Okay. And one more thing you need to remember here. So here we will see how it is working. Then after that I will show you how to make it work. Just run on server. So I'm sending one inactive user. So what it's written, it again no, it's a standard error code. um, there may be properties replace node content only, right? Which one failed? Okay. Okay. So this time see inactive user error I thrown, and but it's written the standard fault only. But as per my expectation, I have prepared something here in error handler, but it is not written in. It's written in standard fault only. So in such cases, what you can do inside your error handler, you can add one more action called reply. In this reply, you can reply with success and reply with failure. If you use reply with success, it will return 200 status code. So always we'll use reply with success, but inside the message they will read error code and error message, or else reply with failure also you can reply, not an issue. Now we will see what is happening. See, I got a fault element now. Code is 9001, user inactive. So what you have to do, even though you written something inside your error handler, it will not consider. It will whenever a error happen, it will what it will do, it will update the response body variable and it will return whatever you return the logic here. It will not be considered. The final body variable, whatever it has, it will return. So that what we have to do, we have to use one reply action so that the control will again transfer back to the back to our program. Then it will update the body variable and it will send the actual response back like this. If you did not use reply action, it will send a standard error, but this time I don't want any standard error. I wanted to send this custom error message. Okay, so likewise we can validate our services, I mean validate the messages first, then finally you can call the uh, server, I mean target system. Okay, and likewise you can add one error handler, and inside which you can prepare your own message and you can reply, right? And here along with this I wanted to give one more, like if it is error not an issue, but if it is a valid user, then it will continue, right? But before continuing, I wanted to give one more validation. For that, there is one action called validate action. Inside this validate action, what I wanted to do, I wanted to validate my request element inside the body variable against an XST. What is my XST? This request. Okay, so this is nothing but payload validation available at server level for SOBA. So here inside OSB I am using the validate, nothing. So here if it is invalid, then I wanted to raise an error. So we'll see how it will raise an error. So here I am just giving the valid user, but here I am giving some invalid element. Invalid element. So this is like a SOAP UI. Whatever you want, you can type and you can send. But after reaching the server, then it will validate and it has to throw an error. As per my XSD, it is expecting A and B element, but here I am sending input A. Okay, we'll see what will happen. See here, I got an error. What it is? OSB replace action updating the variable body cannot cast to invalid decimal value cannot cast to 66. What is this? Inside validate user. Ah, OSB validate action failed. Expected element A instead of B here in A. Some validate action failed here. It is expecting A, but but we sent input A. But here cannot cast to schema. So here something is wrong, I feel. This is error code, this is reason. Okay, okay, I understood here. See here, actually error code I have defined it as integer, but here it is returning a character and I mean a string value it is returning. So here what I will do now, I will go to my Vistel and here code it is integer, right? I wanted to make it as a string. Okay, make it as string. After that anything do I need to do? Conversion, okay, also string. Okay, you see now. If it is throwing an error, then again we will debug it. It's giving cannot cast to integer, so I have to modify my this one here. What I'm doing, I'm converting to integer, right? I should not convert it as integer. I can directly copy this one. This one also throwing an error. Okay, this time I got the code as this one and error messages OSB validate action failed. So here with the single error handler, I'm handling both the custom error message and standard error message. This is a standard error message, and other than this, any other error message also it will handle. Okay, so what you can do, you can give some other custom error message also, like I'm just giving like this. We'll see if any other message will come. No, 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 no. We'll see what will happen then. Okay, it sends a message. So data in log, I am expecting it may throw an error, but it did not throw any error in the log. Not an issue. So what we'll do? Okay. See, now we got OSP replace action fail something error. So here now what we are doing, this is a custom error we are throwing, this is noun error we are throwing through validate activity, and this is unknown error. In our implementation or in execution of this server integration, there may be a number of errors. It may be connection timeout error, it may be our business logic error, something else. So whatever may be the error, I'm handling only with single error handler with some replace and reply. So wherever may be the error may be here or here or here, wherever it will throw the error here. Now we will check all three possible errors. So first thing, I'm expecting inactive user. See, I got the user as inactive. Second error message, I'm expecting user is active and invalid input. Okay, validation action failed validation. And third, everything is proper, but there may be some business error in response pipeline. I kept an error, so OSB replace action failed, some error. Likewise, inside your error handler, you can access the fault variable and you can get the fault code and error message. Then finally use the reply to send a proper response back to the end user. So here I am modifying this to response. Okay, that's it. Anything else?
One question. When we are calling a business service, when it failed, I wanted to retry it for 2 times or 3 times.
Okay. So
in that case, I will achieve.
In that case, here we do not have such kind of mechanism like in Beeple. In Beeple, you have a fault handling framework. There you can configure retry. But here, let's check here. With this routing action, we do not have such option. But if you use the service call out, we have one option called best effort. So here use one service call out. For this service call out, I'm browsing the same business service. Somewhere I found best effort.
ఈ ట్యాబ్లో దొరుకుతుంది అనుకుంటా ఐ గెస్. General transport, HTTP transport
header.
There we can find
transport header.
I forgot that, but I used that one in business service or proxy service. We can mention in there is a tabs is there, no? General transport header.
Okay. So let's check in business service then.
Message handling. Can you check in proxy service?
There is a retry count. Retry count, retry interval.
Okay.
It's during business service then. It is not belongs to our business logic. You can simply configure inside your business service only. Okay. Fine, then here you can handle it if you wanted to retry. But this until it completes all the retries, it will not return the response back to the proxy service. Okay, it should complete all the retries, and if I'm not wrong, for this retry and retry interval also there is some time limit. like HTTP session limit. If it reaches more than 60 seconds, it may throw some timeout error. Those and all we need to consider. And if you wanted to increase the time delay at WebLogic level, admin server, there is some property we need to modify. Of course, then all these things are like based on our requirement, we need to configure the server. That's it. So here, now I hope this concept is clear, right? This is very simple. First here I am accessing the user status from the database, and if the user is valid, if it is inactive, I am raising an error, and if the user is active, then I am checking the payload is valid or not. If it is not valid, again it will throw an error. If everything is fine, then it will route the service, and it will give you the proper response. In the response pipeline, I'm just applying a response transformation, then returning the response. If any error here, through this replace, I'm preparing one custom error message, and that I'm replying back, so that you need to use the reply here. If you do not use the reply here, it will return the standard fault variable instead of returning the body variable. Okay, right, then that's it for today. Any doubts? No? Okay, then thank you.
Ravana, one doubt. RESTful service, na? Total completely. If you don't mind, 15 minutes, can you explain? Not today, tomorrow, because.
Or else tomorrow we can see again.
Okay.
Wait.
Not service, but about the something, how it will work, something like that.
Normally, RESTful services means it doesn't have any state, first thing. Okay. Any RESTful service you can access either with the URL, or you can send a post response. If you wanted to send a post response, you need to, for example, if you are calling from the Java, or maybe any web application like a JavaScript or wherever you are using, there are two ways to call a RESTful service, either get method or post method. If you call the get method directly from the URL, you can provide some parameters like a simple JSP page or any simple Java servlet. But if it is a post method, then you need a client. From there you need to create some stream object, output stream object, and from output stream object you need to write the content. It's a different way. So all these things, if you wanted to understand 100%, you must know at least JSP. Either JSP or at least a small minimum Java servlet knowledge you must need. Then you will get 100% clarity. Otherwise, in simple words, in RESTful service, we have a get method and post method. There is no use of going with the post method. If you wanted to go with the post method, instead of that, our SOAP web service is better than the post method. Okay, so instead of post, people will always use the SOAP web service. But get, we have some advantages, because instead of writing some custom business logic inside the URL, you can give the question mark, and you can give the parameters like name equals to some xxx, and if you want to add one more parameter, you need to give the ampersand, some number equals to 123, again one more parameter, some email equals to, likewise you can give. And inside your business logic only you will concentrate on the parameters. You simply receive the parameters and you just validate the parameters, and you will continue with your business flow. Likewise you will go. Only thing is we are implementing the RESTful services for the user convenience. For example, one more best example, if you wanted to do, if you want, in your email, sometimes you will receive some links, right? For example, if your antivirus is expiring, you will get one link to activate it, right? So in such cases, you can give maybe from your business flow, you may write you may write an email activity with some URL. That URL, it will go as an email to the customer, and if you create it as a web service, he cannot invoke that URL directly. He need at least SOAP UI. But if you create it as a RESTful service, he can simply click on that link like yesterday. It will open a page. In that page, he can provide some details and he can submit it. Likewise, for easy access, we will use a RESTful service, but it is not secure. Okay. And if you wanted to learn more about the RESTful services, just Google through uh, to learn more. Here, if you want, how can we invoke? I can show you. But more about RESTful service, it's your personal interest to learn more. Okay. ఒకసారి చూడండి మీరు